is competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5,
Right.
and you still competing. It just don't make sense.
First of all, that vote is fake as that's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings.
Cowboy Carter. Beyonce. No.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
50 Cent and Eminem are finally locking in together, and their target is none other than Jay Z. The two rap heavyweights aren't just throwing random shade. They're blasting out claims about shady business deals, stolen credit, and even rigged award shows. They're saying careers were destroyed just to keep the Carters on top, and the receipts are starting to look undeniable. 50 is straight up claiming Jay Z is still trying to block his bag, even decades into the game. He's calling out how Jay uses his influence to shut doors, while Eminem has been slipping warnings for years. In his verses, M's been leaving cryptic messages about the industry being darker than anyone wants to admit.
When you're not competing for those things anymore, you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what went through with Joe.
Hinting that there are powerful gatekeepers pulling strings like puppet masters behind the scenes. But the fire doesn't stop at Jay. Beyonce's name is right in the middle too. She's facing accusations of jacking songwriting credits and allegedly shutting down other women's shine in the industry. People keep pointing to names like Aaliyah, Mia, Mary J. Blige, and Carrie Hilson. All women who were rising stars until, out of nowhere, their momentum flatlined. And now fans are asking if Beyonce had a hand in it all along. And here's where it gets even darker. Jay and Bey's cozy ties to Diddy are being dragged back into the spotlight. Jay-Z may have dodged that Jane Doe lawsuit in court, but the whispers aren't fading away. The alleged victim is now hinting she was pressured to stay silent. Right after some shady figures showed up at her front door, the fear level went through the roof. Now the question everybody's whispering has turned into a roar. Are Jay-Z and Beyoncé really the power couple they parade around as, or just the best at sweeping dirt under the rug while no one dares call them out?
Look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You start looking at that's not mine. That's theirs. They harbor it, right? But when you look at M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like I'm a shady aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like, it do so much G-Unit Records.
Right.
They forget that I'm M and Dre's artist.
People are starting to ask, have they been sitting at the top of the industry by stepping over careers, maybe even lives, just to stay untouchable? And here's where it gets real messy. Do 50 Cent and Eminem actually hold the insider keys that could crack this empire wide open? For years, the rule was simple. Say anything negative about Jay or Bey, and you'd instantly be branded bitter, jealous, or flat out crazy. But that golden image is slipping fast, and suddenly, the so-called king and queen of music don't look so royal anymore.
This is why I was saying I knew what old boy was doing with the Super Bowl. Because he was doing like,
yeah, go ahead.
He was doing some wild because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? Why don't I have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance? Like, makes no sense. You know what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says old boy, for the audience that don't, talking about Jay-Z, this was discussed before. Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened.
Possibly. Not even threatened. I think it's just when you take the competition from
Leading this charge with no hesitation are 50 Cent and Eminem, pulling the curtain back piece by piece. 50 isn't biting his tongue at all.
Our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? What's the goal? Like this even like a lot of even a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? And it changed. That terminology changed when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment. When before that they called it babbling in our culture. Right. Because that's what it is until it turns into some street shit. So when you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what I went through with Jay.
He's straight up calling Jay Z insecure, jealous, and petty as hell. And this time, he's backing it up with cold receipts that make the story hard to ignore. Let's rewind to 2023 when 50 dropped the bomb that Jay Z tried to block him from performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. According to 50, Jay flexed his NFL connections and tried to shut it down before it even happened. But Jay's move backfired in epic fashion because Eminem wasn't having it. M told the NFL straight up, no 50, no Slim Shady. That single demand exposed how desperate Jay allegedly was to keep 50 out of the spotlight. Fast forward to 50's Sit Down on Talk with Flea featuring Cameron, and he's airing Jay out all over again. No filter, no fear, just raw truth flying out for everyone to hear.
Trey Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category. All right, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
According to 50, Jay isn't just moving slick in the music world, he's allegedly pulling strings in boardrooms too. What's wild is 50 even admitted Jay has already proven his place in the culture, but instead of chilling, he's still out here trying to sabotage deals just for spite.
A few Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? And that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now.
That's not competition, that's obsession. But things get even bigger. Now 50 and Eminem are linking up, saying the Grammy machine itself is rigged. 50 is flat out accusing Jay of using his marriage to Beyonce like a cheat code to rack up trophies, while Eminem's been yelling for years that the Grammys are nothing but a pay-to-win hustle. The timing couldn't look shadier. When Beyonce scooped Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, not everyone believed she truly earned it.
Watch 50, same. 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had. And then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever, I'm fine if I lose to Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't get us all here to use your selling point for your show and stiff everybody every single time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I go to the...
Fans online started buzzing that Jay was back at it, allegedly twisting arms and cashing in favors. And those whispers only grew louder because just a year earlier, Jay had stormed the Grammy stage, dragging the Recording Academy for supposedly snubbing Beyonce. But here's the kicker. The crowd wasn't buying it. Fans said the whole speech felt staged, like he was playing both sides. Think about it. Jay stood there clutching an award in one hand while blasting the very people who gave it to him.
Would consider, joining a board and maybe you have a vote in it?
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. This got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. It ain't about always what you sell. I get that, Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to Lada Dottie. Who? Lada Dottie. It's only Lada Dottie.
The hypocrisy was glaring. If the Grammys are so biased, why not walk away entirely? Why not prove Beyonce doesn't need their stamp of approval instead of begging for it live on stage? The whole situation felt shady from the jump, and it only cranked the whispers up even louder. People are asking if the Carters are really sitting at the top because of pure talent, or because of backroom deals, blackmail, and big money chess moves that nobody dares challenge. For years, insiders have said the Grammys are less about skill and more about politics. And one of the loudest voices backing that claim is Eminem.
When he started to receive the 16 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. They don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them the things they would. Later, to me, I didn't care about it.
He's been calling the award show a flat-out scam for decades, and he's never been shy about it. M even vowed to never set foot at the Grammys again, and he meant every word. But don't twist it. He's not mad about losing. Eminem himself said if another artist dropped a better album than his, he'd respect it. What eats at him is how the Grammys use him. They splash his name across promos, hype him up as a nominee, make it look like he's got a real shot just to boost their ratings. And then when the night comes, boom, he's shut out like he never mattered at all. That's not competition, that's manipulation. And when people asked if he'd reconsider if he joined the voting committee, Eminem didn't even blink. He said it wouldn't change a damn thing, because in his words, the whole thing's rigged.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
Wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he didn't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Oh, Lord.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was
At
one.
the same time,
After that, he's like drinking. His pictures with him like it's the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because
from
he's
the
no
marriage.
longer viewed as like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got. Oh, wow. So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
And those votes don't mean anything. That's how deep the corruption runs in his eyes. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is riding right beside him, doubling down with even sharper shade. He didn't just say the Grammys were rigged. He flat out called out Jay Z's wins as fake. According to 50, Jay isn't bagging trophies because the music's unstoppable and he's getting them because of his marriage to Beyonce. 50 claims the Recording Academy knows exactly what it's doing. As long as Jay and Bey show up, the cameras flash, the ratings explode, and the whole show goes viral. So what's the game plan? Simple. Keep nominating Jay and Bey, keep handing them trophies, just to make sure the so-called royal couple shows up for the cameras. That's the kind of power play insiders swear has been running the Grammys for years. But 50 Cent wasn't done, not even close. On his stop at the Flagrant podcast, he went in harder than ever. He said straight up that Jay Z's empire and all those Grammy trophies have less to do with talent and more to do with the woman he married. 50 even dropped the bomb that Jay and Beyoncé's relationship might be nothing more than a contract, a carefully built image designed for power, money, and global influence. Wild, right?
Beyonce and Jay Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Hey, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something.
And 50's not the only one putting this out there. For years, whispers have circled in the industry that Jay and Beyoncé allegedly blocked other artists from climbing too high on purpose. Why? So nobody could ever outshine them. So their spotlight stayed untouched while everyone else's career dimmed. Then comes the chilling story of Beyoncé's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron. Before passing away from pneumonia, he went public saying he had receipts.
The first time I ever saw Jay Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay Z. He didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as that was with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you,
Rest in peace, Big L.
rest in peace, Big L.
One of the
That was the
dopest.
sense
One of
that
the dopest. Yes.
Big L was who put Jay Z on.
Without question.
And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay Z.
He claimed Jay and Bey destroyed careers, ruined lives, and crushed rising stars, all to secure their own throne. The timing of his death raised eyebrows everywhere, with people asking if he knew too much and was silenced before spilling it all. The streets haven't stopped talking since. And how could we forget Jaguar Wright? She once sang backup for Jay, but now she's become one of his loudest critics. Jaguar's been dropping bomb after bomb, saying that folks close to Jay, like Harlem legend Big L, either mysteriously lost their lives or had their careers cut short right when Jay's was on the rise.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again.
To her, it wasn't coincidence. It was strategy. And speaking of Big L, let's pause and break down his story. Back in the early 90s, Harlem had a star ready to take over. Big L. He was a lyrical monster, a freestyle machine that had the streets on fire. Every corner, every cipher, people knew Big L was the next one to blow. He locked in a deal with Columbia Records and dropped a debut that turned heads. Even after Columbia cut him loose, Big L didn't fold. He went harder, launched his own label, and started building real momentum on his own.
Man, the game is bullshit. If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. You know what? Listen to a song I called The Industry. And that pretty much explains, you know what I'm saying, what it is about the industry. Man, it's not the same. The industry, it's not a fucking game. The industry, real is dying to get in the industry just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that, but I'm going to dress like this and talk with the gap.
That's when Dame Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller, took notice, and Big L looked set to finally get his golden shot. But right when his career was about to explode, everything came crashing down. On February 15th, 1999, Big L was gunned down in a Harlem drive-by.
I was like, we gotta sign DMX, and they laughed at me. I remember when I left the office, Tina Davis said, she knew I wanted to sign DMX. She said, if DMX don't sell, your ass is fired. Jay and Dame did not believe in DMX. Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? And I'd be like, he's nice just like you. I said, if you look in the hood, there's less of like you and more like him. Yeah, but he don't want to live that. He's depressing, Gotti. And I said, I don't give a. So Jay used to watch me grind with X, and he was off with the Hitman. And then something strange happened when I made Get At Me Dog. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it's the heartbeats.
His life cut short before he could take the crown. And here's the chilling part. Decades later, the case is still unsolved. No justice, no closure, just questions that never stop haunting hip-hop.
DMX, dum dum. Live at the tumble. I don't even remember the tumble. Funk Massacres, dum dum. And then I put that sound bite. Let's take it back to the streets, mother. Dum dum. The videos flashing, f***ing up your eyes. It caused change. And now there's no more shiny suits. We back to the hood, and X is the leader of this revolution. I used to put on the wall a triangle with 5. Niggas like they used to clown me. They used to be like, who's gonna buy his records, Gotti? Chihuahuas, he's barking. No one wants to hear that bullshit. And I'd be like, yeah. It's 05. It was no more writing on the walls. It was, y'all can get behind me. I used to tell Leo in the midst of the whole staff, and I would tell him, yo, shut the fuck up, yo. I said, you work better when you shut up and get behind me. Now this is what we doing. And he would shut up.
Jaguar Wright hasn't held back one bit. She's openly suggested that Jay Z himself might have had something to do with Big L's death. That's how deep the suspicion runs. It's explosive, it's dark, and it shows how messy the whispers around Jay really get when people start connecting the dots. And if you think that's the only heavyweight to clash with Jay, think again. Enter DMX, one of the few rappers besides 50 Cent with the guts to look Jay dead in the eye and call him out. DMX always said Jay was bitter, jealous, and couldn't stand sharing the spotlight. When Jay became president of Def Jam in 2004, the beef turned business. DMX had carried Def Jam for years, dropping 5 straight #1 albums from 1998 to 2003. But when it came time to release his 6th project, Year of the Dog, again, things went sideways. DMX claimed Jay purposely held back the rollout just so he could clear the stage for his own comeback.
I think one man could destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top of me. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe.
And trust me, the drama didn't stop there. In 2005, DMX shook the whole game with his track, The Industry. On it, he ripped the mask off, exposing the shady power plays happening behind closed doors. And the craziest part, most of what he warned about is still going on today, and even Irv Gotti.
Where you been, A-Marie?
I've been out in the universe somewhere. No, I've been.
Talk about your career. Everybody always says A-Marie should have been a superstar. Because she's pretty, she could dance, she could sing. What happened?
It's,
what do you
know
think
what it is? It's timing. Like, everything is timing. Like, I'm a big believer in...
A man who lived in those same boardrooms admitted Jay was jealous of X. He said Jay and his mentor, Leor Cohen, used to laugh behind DMX's back, convinced he'd never blow up. But X proved them dead wrong with back-to-back #1 albums that crushed the charts. Still, Jay's name keeps surfacing, not just with DMX, but with Beanie Sigel too. Beanie spoke out about the shady treatment, saying it felt like someone was constantly pulling strings to keep him down. According to him, Jay would drop his own albums at the exact same time Beanie tried to release, flooding the spotlight so Beanie's projects would drown in the noise. His career could rise, but only so high, almost like Jay was making sure he stayed capped. Now, Beanie admitted his own legal troubles hurt him, but he made one thing clear. Jay-Z's behavior wasn't by accident. Every move, every release was calculated. It was strategy, not coincidence. And while the spotlight stays on Jay, let's not pretend Beyonce is innocent in this empire. Some fans like to push the idea that she's just Jay's puppet, but come on.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't you don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this.
That narrative doesn't hold weight. There's no way Beyonce stood by his side for decades without being part of the master plan. If anything, they've allegedly been running the chessboard together, teaming up to wipe out any threats to their throne. And here's just one piece of the tea. When Beyonce left Destiny's Child and started linking closer with Jay, strange moves started happening. Producer Rich Harrison, the man behind hits like Mary's One Thing, suddenly got pulled away. Rumors flew that Jay swooped in and snatched Harrison, leaving Mary, who was heating up and being seen as Beyonce's competition, and without her signature sound. Remember Amerie's Smash One Thing? That track had the exact same funky vibe as Beyonce's Crazy in Love. Fans have been saying for years that Beyonce straight up copied the formula after producer Rich Harrison switched camps. The timing was too clean. Amerie's wave slowed, and suddenly Beyonce's solo career took off like a rocket. And Amerie wasn't the only one. Let's talk about Carrie Hilson. Her clash with Beyonce was messy, public, and brutal. Word on the street is Carrie's own producers allegedly tricked her into recording a diss track aimed at Bey, basically setting her up to get dragged and blackballed. At first, Carrie denied it, but the fire didn't stop, especially after that infamous magazine incident. Carrie was asked to hold a magazine cover featuring Jay Z and Beyoncé. When she said no, the Bayhive exploded. Fans swarmed her online, blasting her nonstop, and it got so wild some even confronted her in person. But behind the scenes, whispers swirled that Beyoncé herself was pulling strings. Sources claim she had people inside Carrie's own camp setting her up to record that diss while she played the innocent victim. And years later, Carrie hinted at the truth. In a 2020 interview, she admitted she'd been pressured into dropping that track and revealed the threats she got afterward were very real. To many, it looked less like industry beef and more like flat-out career sabotage disguised as drama. But the story doesn't stop there, because then came Kellis. The R&B queen behind the iconic hit Milkshake didn't hold back at all. She blasted Beyoncé for sampling her song without asking for permission or giving her a single ounce of credit. What's wild is Kellis didn't even know about it until fans online told her. She found out the same way the rest of the world did, through social media. Furious, she wrote, "I heard about this the same way everyone else did. Nothing is ever as it seems. Some of the people in this business have no soul or integrity, and they have everyone fooled." Later, Kellis took to Instagram to break it all down in detail. Kellis made it clear this wasn't just about music, it was about respect. She pointed out that as Black women in the industry, there aren't many of them standing strong at the top, and with all the mutual friends and connections, a simple phone call could have made things right. Kellis said flat out, "It's not that hard to contact me. It's just common decency." But instead of apologizing or taking accountability, Beyoncé quietly removed the sample from streaming and never said a single word. No statement, no responsibility, just silence. And then there's Mia, another name you don't hear enough but always tied to the wrong kind of rumors. Whispers say she was blackballed after allegedly turning down Jay Z's advances. In interviews, Mia has spoken up about how powerful men in the industry often abuse their positions, creating dangerous situations for ambitious young artists. Her response was simple. She said no and walked away. But that choice came with a cost. She hinted that refusing certain people led to her reputation being dragged and her career quietly pushed to the sidelines. It's the type of pattern that makes fans wonder how many other voices were silenced just to keep the throne clean and polished. So now, after everything we've laid out, from 50 Cent and Eminem to Kellis, Mia, Jaguar Wright, DMX, Beanie Sigel, and more, the burning question stands. Are Jay Z and Beyoncé really protecting their empire with hard work and brilliance? Or are they secretly sabotaging anyone who dares get too close to their crown? And remember, this list isn't even complete. There are countless more stories, more whispers, and more artists who claim the same treatment. So if you think we missed someone, drop their name in the comments. What's your take on these claims? Are the Carters untouchable icons or just masters at cleaning up every mess before it spills into the spotlight? Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you want more stories that rip the mask off the music industry.